Okay, so this is kind of the second last lecture for this course. Okay, so we have actually one more lecture on Tuesday. That will be the last lecture for the course. Okay, so we were doing Markov chains, so we'll do one more lecture on Markov chains. Next class, I'm not completely sure what to cover, but anything that is left over, we'll cover it. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, so we were discussing Markov chain in the last class, okay? And we said yeah, there are something called transient and recurrent states, right? So yeah, first of all, what is a Markov chain? It is a random process. Yeah, Markov chain is a random process. It's a process. Process meaning it's a sequence of random variables. It's an infinite sequence of random variables. Yeah. And it has a special property that probability of xt equal to some at given xt minus 1 equal to at minus 1, xt minus 2 equal to at minus 2. Suppose you condition on the entire history, but you don't need to condition on your entire history. You just need to condition on your immediate past. Where were you in the previous state? Yeah, and that's the only thing that matters for the next state in a Markov chain. And we said that there is something called transition probability matrix. Yeah, and state space. Yeah, and typically the way you represent Markov chain is by a graph. This is the states, and there are arrows, and there are actually probabilities associated with arrows saying that okay, with this probability from this state I will go to that state. Okay. So we also described what are called recurrent and transient states. Yeah. So yeah, if you remember the previous lecture, could you tell me which are the recurrent and transient states here? So one, is it a recurrent or a transient states?
Sir, recurrent state.
It is recurrent state. Does anybody disagree?
Sir, it's transient state.
Okay, why is it transient?
Sir, from 1 we can't go to 2, and even from 2 also we can't from 1 we can't go to 2, sir. So that's why there is no path.
So from 1 you can go to 2.
No, sir, we can't go.
Okay, so
for all you reachable from me, this should also reachable from you, sir.
Yeah. So is 2
there is no limit, sir. No, sir. That's why it is transient.
No. If 2 is reachable from 1, then 1 should also be reachable from 2. That is the condition, right? But 2 is not reachable from 1. So why are we worrying about it?
Oh.
Yeah. So only state reachable from 1 is 1 itself. So we don't need to worry about it too much. So this is actually a recurrent state. Yeah, you should read the textbook also. Okay, not just listening to the lectures is not good enough. You should go back and read the textbook also. I always put a relevant portion of the textbook in the eLearn portal. You should go back and read the textbook. Yeah, otherwise there's not going to be much use. Okay, so this is actually a recurrent state. What about 2?
Sir, it is transient.
It is clearly transient because from 2 I can reach 1 and 3, but I cannot come back from 1 and 3. Yeah, so this is transient. What about 3?
3 and 4 are recurrent.
Because the only state which is reachable from 3 is 4, and 4 is 3, and you can go back and forth. Yeah. Suppose you start at some random position in this Markov chain. Suppose the initial state is uniformly distributed. I am at 1 with probability 1 by 4, 2 with probability 1 by 4, 3 with probability. So the initial distribution P0 is, let's say, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4. Yeah? This is my initial distribution. And suppose you just do random mark on the Markov chain. What is going to happen in the long run? So let's say all these arrow marks has equal probability. So from 1, I will move back to 1 with probability 1. So let's write down the transition matrix. So let's this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what is Mij? It is the probability that, let's say x2 equal to j given x1 equal to I, right? Yeah, so this is the transition matrix. So could you tell me the entries of this transition matrix? So what is the entry here?
1.
1. What is the entry here?
0.5. 1 by 2.
Why is
1
this
by 3.
0.5?
Sir, because 2 can go to 1, 3 and itself.
Yeah, so this entry is 1, 2. So M12 is the probability that x2
0.
is equal to
0, sir.
2 given x1 equal to 1. So
Sir,
be
it should be
careful.
0.
Yeah. So what is this?
0.
But what about 2, 1? So this is 2. Sorry, yeah, this is 2, 1. So this is 2. You are sitting in 2, and what is the probability that you go to 1?
1 by 3.
1 by 3. Okay. Now you know how to fill up this table. Just confirming that. Okay. Yeah. So now we are interested in, okay, we are in this state P0, and let's say I do, let's say I keep on doing a random walk in this Markov chain. So this you will get PT, right? We explained this later. We could do linear algebra and do this. What will be PT after a long time? What do you think PT will look like? Yeah, what do you think PT will look like in the end? So let's start with a simpler example. Let's say our P0 was this. Let's say our P0 was, let's say I am in the state 1 and 0 everywhere else. Yeah. So what is PT after a long time?
It would be same, sir.
It would be same. There's no way you can escape from 1, right? Yeah, fine. That is great. What about when P0 equal to, let's say it is 0, 0, 1, 0? What will happen?
It is either in 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's going to be sitting in 3 or 4. Okay, that is clear. But what is the probability distribution in 3 or 4? So if you look at it,
1 by 2, 1 by 2.
Why do you think it is 1 by 2, 1 by 2? How do you obtain 1 by 2, 1 by 2?
So both are equally probable.
Yeah, but there should be some reasoning also. No, you should be good that you are intuitively saying, but there should be also some mathematical reason. No.
Staying at 3 with probability 1 by 2, you can go to 4. Similarly, when you are at state 4 with probability 2, you can go back to 3.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you prove that PT is equal to 1 by 2, 1 by 2? So let me just give you a simpler explanation. So if you actually look at this, so anyway, we are starting at 3, right? So actually we are never going to the states 1, 2. You agree? Yeah. So essentially your Markov chain is only 3, 4. If you're starting at 3, then this is your only Markov chain. I mean, you can actually ignore the other states. You agree?
Yes, sir.
There's no need for considering in the other 10. You are never going to the other states actually. So, I mean, what is the, yeah, I mean, what is the transition matrix? It's only 3, 4, 3, 4. So it is going to be 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. You agree? Yeah. And
Yeah.
how do you find the stationary distribution of a Markov chain? PT is that distribution which doesn't change in the end. Yeah. How do you find the stationary distribution? You will find the eigenvector with eigenvalue 1. Right? And what is the eigenvector with eigenvalue 1? What is the eigenvector with eigenvalue 1 of this matrix? 1 by, there is no n here. Sorry, where is the n coming here? I didn't follow. Yeah, so what is the eigenvector of this with eigenvalue 1? If you take 1 by 2, 1 by 2, so let's say V is the old ones vector, 1, 1 vector. That is the eigenvector with eigenvalue 1, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But that's not a probability distribution. So let's, the thing is, the thing about eigenvectors is, if you multiply eigenvector by a scalar, it remains another eigenvector. Yeah, if you multiply eigenvector by a scalar, it's again eigenvector. So, I mean, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 is also eigenvector with eigenvalue 1. Yeah, so 1 by 2, 1 by 2 is eigenvector with eigenvalue equal to 1. Yeah, so that's what it's going to converge to. That's all. Okay, is that clear?
Sir, can you once again explain why it is an eigenvector?
Okay, so this we described last class itself. So let's say, I mean, you are going from, you are keep on moving in this Markov chain. Yeah. Yeah. And suppose it converges to some state. Okay, some long term there is a uniform, some distribution it's going to converge to. Suppose you are in that distribution P, and suppose you take one more step. But by the definition of this distribution, you should not change from that distribution, right? We are interested in PT as t tends to infinity, right?
Yes, sir.
So PT as t tends to infinity, yeah. Suppose it converges to some P star. I'm assuming that it's converging to P star, okay? Yeah, we will come to that in a minute, but assume that it converges to P star, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
then
sir.
P star should satisfy this equation.
Yes, sir.
That is, I mean, because I mean, P star it is converging to. So if I take one more step, it should not go from that state to some other thing, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the definition of convergence. But then it has to be eigenvector with eigenvalue 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this again we saw in the last lecture. So yeah, again you should go back and read the textbook. Otherwise, it's yeah. I mean, that's why we also have this light quiz, so that okay, you go back and read the textbook. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine.
Sir, I have a
Yes.
doubt.
Yes.
Why is the eigenvalue 1?
Okay, what is the definition of eigenvector? So
in terms
eigenvector
of
mv equal to, if you have mv equal to lambda times v, yeah, then v is a eigenvector with eigenvalue 1. You agree?
okay, yeah, I got it.
So here lambda equal to 1. Yeah. So yeah, so you actually also have a linear algebra course, which is the second part of this course coming up starting next week. So there these things will be more clear. Okay. Okay. So fine. Yeah. So we understand y is eigenvector, and yeah, we have proved that. Okay, this is, since 1 by 2 is eigenvector with eigenvalue 1, that's where it will converge to. Okay. Great. Yeah. So here we actually made a very interesting observation. Where the Markov chain will converge to will depend upon where you start, right? It depends upon where you start. If you started at 1, you will be stuck there. If you are starting at 3, you will be going to 1 by 2, 1 by 2. If you are starting at 4, you will be going to 1 by 2, 1 by 2 here. Yeah. If you are starting at 2, what will happen?
It can go either ways.
Sorry.
Sir, if we start at 2, it can go either ways, either to 1 or to 3 and 4.
Yeah, yeah. But the probability of being in the state 2 is going to be 0. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So it will go convert some state. Yeah. But it's actually a very good exercise. Okay, to find out what it will converge to. Yeah. If you start at the state 2. Okay. You can work it out. It's you know all the tricks for doing that already. Okay. Fine. So let's move on. So whenever you have a Markov chain, we have this decomposition. Okay. So this set of recurrent state, which forms this strongly connected component, yeah, this is called a recurrent class. Yeah, this is another recurrent class. Yeah, and then there will be transient states. Okay, so whenever you have a Markov chain, there will be one or more recurrent classes and possibly some transient states. Okay. Yeah. So if you take a recurrent class, if you take a recurrent class, all the states within that recurrent class will be reachable from each other. You can always go from one vertex to the other vertex. Okay. Yeah. So that's what this is written. Yeah. So a transient state is not reachable from any recurrent state. Yeah. And from a transient state, you might reach one or more recurrent classes. Okay. You agree with all this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is just to be observed. We worked out one example, and these are the things we already observed. Just stating that, yeah, in a list. Okay. So here in the first thing, we kind of assumed that our PT will converge to some P star. Is that true always? We kind of made this crucial assumption. But why should a PT converge to a P star? Yeah. So let's look at one example. Yeah. So let's look at this Markov chain. Okay. Yeah. So this is how the Markov chain is looking like. Let's say I start at 1. Yeah. So the P0 is basically 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Yeah. And let's look at PT. Yeah. As t tends to infinity. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is it going to converge to some P star? Anybody has an idea? Please speak out. I mean, a lot of people gave me a feedback that okay, I am spending too much time asking questions. But if somebody speaks out, I will immediately move on to something next. So suppose I start here. Yeah. So you have you noticed some interesting thing in this picture? All the edges from 1 goes to 2. All the edges from this 3, 4, 5 goes to 6. And all the edges from 6 goes to this 1, 2. So what will happen if I start at 1?
The circle go to 3 and
Okay, we cannot hear you, Sumit.
it is a kind of circle from 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 1.
It's kind of a circle. You are going around in circles. Yeah. So if your t is a multiple of 3, where are you going to be in?
1.
In 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
In 1 or 2, but all state 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to have probability 0. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Similarly, if you do modulo 3 and it is 1, okay, if it's a multiple of 3 plus 1, can you be in states 1, 2 or 6?
No, sir.
No. Yeah. So similarly, if it's a multiple of 3 plus 2, where are you going to be with probability 1?
6.
You are going to be in 6 with probability 1. There is no other way. Everybody agrees?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So essentially, in this case, your PT will not converge to anything. PT will never converge. Yeah. Depends upon T. If T is a multiple of 3, it's always going to be in 1 or 2. You agree? PT never converges.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's look at another example. So let's say this is some maze. Okay. This is some maze. Okay. And there is a rat. Okay. The rat is running around through this maze. So there is some doors here. Yeah. So it will come into a room each time and take a random door. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So what is the Markov chain associated with this? So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So from 1 to 3 I can go. Yeah. And 3 to 2 I can go. 3 to 5 I can go. 3 to 4 I can go. 4 to 6, 5 to 6 I can go. This is the Markov chain. No? It's bidirectional. There's one arrow in one direction, meaning there's an opposite arrow also. Yeah. Okay. So how many recurrent classes are there in this Markov chain? Yeah. How many recurrent classes are there?
1 class, sir.
1.
Which is?
1.
The whole graph.
Yeah. So there is no transient state. Everybody agrees?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is one recurrent class. Okay. That is good. Yeah. So at least this kind of issues is not coming here. Yeah, there are multiple recurrent classes. Then yeah, I mean fine. Yeah, then you need to choose which. If you start in one recurrent class, you will remain in that recurrent class. At least this issue is not there. Yeah. So the entire thing is one big recurrent class. Everything is reachable from everywhere else. That is good. Yeah. But yeah. Actually, here also everything is reachable from everywhere else, right? Here also everything is reachable from everywhere else. But still you are not converging, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So here will you converge? How will you know? Here will you converge? Will PT converge to something?
Sir, it shouldn't.
Why?
Sir, because every node is a recurrent node, so
So here also every node is a recurrent node. So in this Markov chain, just a second, where am I stuck? My cursor is stuck. Okay. I don't know what is happening. Okay. So this is a Markov chain. You agree this is a Markov chain?
yes, sir.
Every node is a recurrent node, so it is converging. So why are you saying that this doesn't converge? Anybody?
So, sir, can we say that when t is even, we will be in states either 3 or 6, given that we are starting at some state like 1.
Okay, yeah. So what Dhruv is saying is, so let's so what was happening here? Yeah, here we are kind of partitioning the set of states into different places. So suppose I partition it like this. Yeah, and the other partition is this. Okay, sorry for that. That will go away in 2 minutes. So if you look at it, every arrow is going from the blue states to the black states. You agree? Yeah. So if you
Yes,
start in
sir.
a black state, yeah, if you start in a black state and look at every even step, you look at every even step. Can you be in the blue state?
No, sir.
No. Similarly, every odd step, can you be in the black state? Yeah.
Yes, sir. If we are only looking at odd, then we'll always from black we'll come to black.
Yeah. So no. In odd steps, you will always be in a blue state with probability 1.
Yes, sir.
And in even steps, you'll always be in a black state. 0th step I start here. I'll go to this blue states. 0th, so 2th I will come back to black. 3rd I will go back to blue. Yeah. Again, your Markov chain is not converging to anything. You agree? Okay. So here also it doesn't converge. So you need to look at the figure carefully and see if you can partition the space into this kind of classes. Okay. Yeah. So when does a Markov chain converge? Okay. So when does a Markov chain converge? Yeah. So there need to be 2 conditions for a Markov chain to converge. First condition is, yeah, it should be what is called strongly connected. Yeah. That is a single recurrent class. This is necessary, right? If you have multiple recurrent classes, then there is always a problem. You agree? in the first example itself you saw, if there are multiple recurrent classes, if you start in a recurrent class, you will remain in that recurrent class. Yeah. So you should have only a single recurrent class if you want your Markov chain to converge. So sorry, I had to say something here. So when does a Markov chain converge to a unique stationary distribution? To a unique stationary distribution. Okay. Again, yeah, let me just step back a bit. So what I'm going to say is, suppose you start at any P0. We don't care about which P0 is. Yeah. Now, does Pt as t tends to infinity converge to a P star? And this P star is independent of P0. Yeah. So when does this happen? That's what this is saying. Okay. Yeah, we would like to have a Markov chain which no matter where you start, eventually you will converge to the same stationary distribution. Yeah. So we already saw one example here. For example, in this Markov chain, it didn't matter where you start at 3 or 4 or any distribution. Eventually, you will always converge to this 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Yeah. So what are the conditions for that happening? Yeah. The first condition is it should be strongly connected. Yeah, that is, there is a path from everywhere to everywhere else. That's a single recurrent class. Yeah. And the second condition is, yeah, it's called aperiodic. Yeah. So aperiodic means that you cannot partition your states like this, yeah, such that all the edges goes from one state to one partition to the next. We cannot partition states into, let's say, S1, S2 up to Sk, such that all edges goes from left to right, left to the immediate next. Partition. So all the edges are like this, and then you can go cyclically also. Okay, cyclically. Yeah. Yeah. So if your set of states, yeah, if your Markov chain satisfies these two conditions, that is, it has a single recurrent class. Yeah. Secondly, it is aperiodic. That is, we cannot partition the set of states, yeah, into this, into different partitions S1 to Sk, like this black and blue partition, such that all the edges goes from left to right to the immediate next partition, left to the immediate next partition, and cyclically you can go back from Sk to S1 also. Yeah. So if we cannot do that, it is called aperiodic. Yeah. And if a Markov chain is strongly connected and aperiodic, then, yeah, there's a unique stationary distribution. No matter where you start, you will converge to that stationary distribution P star. Yeah. So this is called a fundamental theorem of Markov chains or something like that. Yeah, this is called the fundamental theorem of Markov chains. So if you read the textbook, you will find this. So the exact mathematical statement is given in the textbook. Okay. So what does it mean by aperiodic? There's an exact mathematical statement. Yeah, but yeah, this is what it means.
Sir, so in the
Yes.
first condition, when we say about strongly connected, so do we mean that the whole graph is strong, the whole chain is strongly connected, or there is a sub component which is strongly connected.
The whole graph is strongly connected. And if the whole the graph is not strongly connected, there's already a problem, no, that we observed. If the whole graph is not strongly connected, suppose there are different strongly connected components. Your recurrent class is nothing but a strongly connected component. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So if there are multiple different strongly connected components, where you are finally depends on where you started. If you started in this component, you will never go to the other component. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is very clear that it has to be one big component, one big strongly connected component, the entire graph like this. Yeah. But that is also not enough. Yeah. We also need this aperiodic condition. That is, we cannot partition the states like this such that all the edges goes from one partition to the immediately next partition. Yeah. But if you don't have these two conditions, yeah, if it's not periodic, yeah, it is aperiodic and it is strongly connected, then the Markov chain will converge. Okay. Yeah. Now, yeah. So yeah, the proof of this theorem again, we cannot take it in this kind of class. Okay. Typically, I teach this for a full course for the entire semester. And there also I find it difficult to cover the proof of this. Okay, so yeah, the proof of this is possibly given in the textbook. Yeah, you can look at the textbook. It is possibly given there. Yeah, so fine. Now we know a Markov chain will converge to a stationary distribution. Okay. Now another interesting question to ask is, how fast does it converge? Yeah. If the Markov chain satisfies these two conditions, yeah, PT converges to P star, fine. But how fast does it converge? That is, if T is going to be 100, if T equal to 100, is it good enough to say that PT has become P star? Or T is equal to 1000 is needed? Yeah. So we already asked you a question like this. Suppose you are shuffling your deck of cards. You are going to play cards and you want to shuffle. Yeah. Such that the all the n factorial arrangements are equally likely. How many times should you shuffle? That's the question we are asking here. How many times should you shuffle? Is 3 good enough? Is 7 good enough? Is 15 required? Yeah. Is the question clear? Yeah. So maybe you will never reach the stationary distribution. Yes, yes. Yes, Shayan.
Can you repeat the question once?
So the question is, how? So last time we looked at the shuffling cards, right? But the shuffling is you just take the top card and pick it to a random position. Yeah. And we said this is a Markov chain because yeah, what's going to happen next only depends upon what the arrangement was in the previous step. Yeah. So how many states were there in that Markov chain?
Six states.
Yeah, n factorial. If there are n cards, it was n factorial. Yeah. And yeah, we would like to converge to the uniform distribution. All the n factorial states are equally likely. Okay. So is the Markov chain strongly connected? Is the Markov chain strongly connected? By doing that kind of shuffling, can I move from any arrangement to any other arrangement? So shuffling cards. Okay, how many times should I shuffle? How many times should shuffle n cards to make it completely random. Yeah. So first of all, first question you need to ask is, is it strongly connected? Is it strongly connected? Is the Markov chain strongly connected? The Markov chain is clear what it is.
Yes, I think so. It's strongly connected.
Yeah, why is it strongly connected? Let's say I have an arrangement. Let's say 1 to n. 1 is in the top, n is in the bottom. Yeah. I want to go to an arrangement. Let's say n is in the top, 1 is in the bottom, in that reverse order. How will I go?
Sir, if we pick the nth card and place it at the top of the whole stack, then we will get that.
So what is our shuffle operation? We can pick the random card in the top and put it in a random position. Only that operation is allowed. This was the Markov chain we discussed last class. Take the topmost card, put it in a random position. Yeah. So suppose you have this particular state. This is my initial state. Can I go to this particular state?
Sir, only when we place the cards at the bottom. Acha nahi. Okay.
So from this state I can go to this particular state, no? That's a 2 up to, let's say, n and 1. I can go to this particular state. There is some probability of going here, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. From this state there is some probability of going here, no? Right?
Yes,
there is
sir.
some probability of going here. Now do you agree you can go from this state to this state with some probability?
Yes, sir. It will be minute, but yes, we can go.
Yeah, but minute, but it's fine. Like, what is our strongly connected thing? It's saying there's a path. The edge values will be small, but there's a path.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we can go from this particular state to this particular state. Can you go from any state to any state?
Sir, I think we can go from any state to any other state. At max, you'll require n moves. Take the top card and place it in its position in the state that you want.
Yeah. So what is this thing called? Is there a you know bubble sort, no?
It's, I think, pancake sort, some sort of pancake sort.
Yeah. Forget, we don't want to optimize the number of steps or anything. Let's say we do bubble sort. No, we can't do bubble sort. We can only take the topmost thing and put it somewhere. Right? Yeah. So, but you can convince yourself, actually you can go from any state to any other state in n steps, as Hussein just said. Okay. Yeah. So it is actually strongly connected. Yeah, you need to think a bit. Yeah, it's not immediate. You need to think carefully why it is possible.
So is it n or n minus 1 steps? I think n minus 1 maximum.
Yeah, actually the number of steps is immaterial. If there is a path, we are okay. Yeah, even if that path is of length n factorial, that is fine. Okay. So strongly connected, and then what else? Is it aperiodic? Is it aperiodic? Can we partition into some partitions such that
No, sir, we cannot partition like that.
why?
Sir, because it's equally likely to go from any state to any other state, and we cannot fix like S1, S2.
I didn't follow. So suppose you have this Markov chain. Yeah, it's so okay. Let me just take a simpler Markov chain. It's equally likely to go from this state to, yeah. Is this periodic? Is this periodic?
Sir, but in this case, like if we take the top card, we can place it back again on the top itself also, right? So there will be
Yes.
self loops also.
Perfect. That's a great answer, Prasant. So the thing is, from every state, there is actually a self loop with probability 1 by n. You can keep the top card and keep it in the same place. Yeah. So since there is a, if you have a self loop in every node, it cannot be periodic. Yeah. Because if you put that node in any particular, any particular partition, you're going to, you're going to remain in the same partition. Yeah. So if there's a self loop, it is aperiodic. Okay. Yeah. So it's also aperiodic. Yeah. So things will converge to a stationary distribution. And what is the stationary distribution? What is the stationary distribution?
Sir, where all possibilities will be equally likely.
That's an intuitive answer, but how do you prove it? Yeah, so if you only way to prove it is you need to show that it is the eigenvector with eigenvalue 1. So you will have a transition matrix. Yeah. What is the row size and column size of this if you have n cards? How many rows and columns will be there?
Sir, n cross n.
N plus 1.
Anybody has a different answer? There are n cards.
N factorial.
It's n factorial. The state is an arrangement of the card. Yeah. And what is the stationary distribution? We need to show that this is 1 by n factorial, 1 by n factorial. This is equal to 1 by n factorial. Yeah. How do you show this? Yeah. So so you cannot write down this matrix. It's very hard. Okay. But in the textbook, if you go through it, you will see there's something called a detailed balance condition. Okay. I don't want to write it right now. Yeah. But if you go through the textbook, there's a detailed balance condition. And if you just verify it satisfies the detailed balance condition, you can confirm that it is a stationary distribution. Okay. Yeah. So you can go back and look at the textbook. Okay. Anyway, this is extra material that I'm teaching right now. Okay. So you can read the textbook and find out this detailed balance condition. Yeah. And if you verify the detailed balance condition, you can say that something is a stationary distribution. Okay. So that is why it is this thing. Now we still haven't answered this question. how many times, yeah. So I will post an assignment about it. Okay, there will be a sequence of steps, and in that sequence of steps, you will be proving this statement. Okay, yeah, yeah. So you will show that, okay, in some number of steps, you can make it completely random. Okay, so this will be assignment that I will post. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. This is all what I wanted to cover today. If you have any questions, I can take. Any questions, any comments, any feedback regarding the course? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, Ryan, want to say something?
Sir, actually, I was wondering what will be the application of these things, that's Markov chain and all, in our computer science areas.
So this shuffling cards have one particular application actually. In fact, this problem was practically solved. So there was this Las Vegas casinos and everything. Yeah, they were only shuffling cards 4 times. Yeah, and the people were taking advantage of it. So some professor in Stanford, okay, so called Percy Diaconis. Yeah, he actually, he actually went to Las Vegas and started cheating. Yeah, in 4 cards he could actually mathematically figure out what is going to be with high probability. We could figure out what is going to be the how to play such that he can win. Yeah, and he also mathematically proved that you need at least 7 shuffles. Yeah, and after that all these casinos started doing shuffles. Yeah, it's, real story. Okay. This has lot of applications in computer science. Yeah. So this is forms the basis for what is called the Markov chain Monte Carlo method. Yeah. So Markov chain Monte Carlo method is one of the most used methods if you want to do machine learning, if you want to do it in physics, in randomized algorithms. Yeah, it is used everywhere. And what you are doing here is the basis of that. It is the basics of that. Okay. So I'm sure in some of the other courses that you are going to take, yeah, in machine learning or whether you are going to NLP, all of those places, this Markov chain Monte Carlo is used, and they will start with this Markov chain. So you already have a background of Markov chain now. When it is converging, what is strongly connected, a periodic. So you will be easily be able to relate this to that. Yeah, they will be defining what Markov chain Monte Carlo is, but this will give you a basis for doing that course. Okay. Yeah. So this is so. For example, your AlphaGo. If you remember, the Google has come up with this AlphaGo algorithm, which can beat even the grandmasters, right? In Go or in chess, and those algorithms use Markov chain Monte Carlo method. Yeah. So all these techniques are very fundamental. Then there is randomized algorithms. Yeah, algorithms are randomized. Most of the cryptography works using randomized algorithms. Yeah, all the bitcoins and all those other things use a lot of the randomized algorithms. And in this probability analysis, we already did amplification experiments. Yeah, we did that analysis. All that going to be important there. Another important question is sample size. Yeah. So you want to train a model to fit some problem. How large should the data set be so that the model can be well trained? That's a sample size problem. Yeah. So the basics of this learning theory comes from this sample size problem that we analyzed. Yeah. If you want to do surveys, you want to know the sample size. We already analyzed it. Yeah. So the Chernoff bound analysis that we did is related to statistics. Okay. So I didn't cover statistics explicitly so far. I will cover some of it in the next lecture. Yeah. But essentially the Chernoff bound analysis is basically a part of statistics. That is one of the main problems in statistics. You want to find confidence intervals and you want to find a sample size for that. Okay. So everything what we covered in the class are basically very fundamental. It will be used all throughout. Yeah, and the only way to learn this is read the textbook, solve a lot of problems. Okay. Any other questions?
So, can I ask a question regarding assignment, sir?
Okay, sure.
So, in assignment 4, second section, they have asked.
Regarding the questions, I don't want to. I think the questions are clear enough. Okay.
No, sir. I mean,
if you have a doubt, you can send a private email.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. So there is a email address given in the eLearn, that front page of the course itself. Yeah, that will send a mail to me and the TAs. You can send a mail using that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, there were some issues regarding peer assessment. So most of the times, if you just refresh the page, yeah, so the math will start rendering. Okay, so if you just refresh the page once, most of the time math will start rendering. So, I mean, I checked with the TAs, they corrected like all your 120 assignments and everything for the previous 2 assignments, and they didn't find any serious issues. They never had any trouble. They didn't report any trouble to me. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if there are still issues. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, so we'll meet next Tuesday, and that will be the final lecture for the course. Yes, yes.
So I have one suggestion that sometimes because of these online lectures, if we miss out something in between, like connection interruption or anything, we cannot cope up the whole class afterwards, and we have to wait until the recording uploaded. So is there another platform where we can start like YouTube or anything? Because wherever YouTube, we can go back, like if we can't understand anything, so we can stay over there 2 or 5 minutes and then continue.
So, I mean, the recordings are typically uploaded within half an hour or 1 hour of the class ending.
But sir, like after that means with me it happens like in a three lecture once it happens, and every time I have to go back and watch that video again. And so rather than if means after 3 means whenever I check the video and I have a doubt, I cannot clear at a time. But if there is something like that, we can go back and stay for a 5 minute. Like if you have means make us understand one thing and we cannot understand, then we can stop 2 minutes over there. We can play and then continue. So
I
this
understand your
Microsoft.
troubles. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I understand your troubles. So, I mean, as far as I know, there is no way of doing, so at least I haven't figured out a way of doing YouTube live lectures, because YouTube will also have these problems. I mean, if your interconnection is slow, even in YouTube, the same problems will come. Okay.
So, sir, it's not whole about internet connection. It is something about our understanding that if sometimes we miss out something in between, so we can go back because we don't have a friends right now with us. in classrooms we can ask him that what was that, and he can clear at a time. But right now we cannot. So in a YouTube we can go back, and if you are like 2 minutes ahead of us, there will be no problem. But here
Yeah,
we
so
cannot. If we miss out, then whole means if I miss out something at 15 minutes, later 14 minutes, later 45 minutes are no more meaning to me. It's like that.
yeah. So thank you for this. I mean, it was better if you reported this much earlier. So yeah, I agree. These are problems. I don't know. I mean, if YouTube allows you, as far as I understand, YouTube has a lot of limitations. They don't allow you to. I mean, we have we have had 18 lectures, 18 1-hour length videos. I don't think they allow you to host. Yeah. So there are.
No, sir, YouTube is like we can upload as many as video we can, and you can do a live YouTube streaming, and
No,
with
there are
that.
restrictions. There are restrictions. You cannot upload any number of videos there. Okay, there are restrictions. Yeah, we have explored all these things. In fact, when I was exploring all these things, there are restrictions, and it's not like you can upload any number of things and they will host it. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so but yeah, it's a good idea. Something like that can be done. Okay. Yeah, I will try to do that from now on, but anyway, the course is almost ending.
Yeah,
But
so
we
sir,
have tried to solve it as much as
that's why
possible. There were, I mean, there were like TA sessions. We tried to conduct a lot of TA sessions. Yeah, and yeah, the videos are always posted immediately after the lecture. So, okay. Yeah, so thanks for the feedback. Okay, so I will also send out a feedback form. So if you have any such this kind of specific problems, yeah, and if you have specific solutions, please mail them to me. Yeah, and that will be very useful for me as well. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. So we are already over time today. Yeah, thank you.